Hello, my MFA 608 students, and welcome to Module 3. Module 3. This is an excellent module. As I reviewed it, I thought, wow, man, so much of this is relatable, and I think that you will actually get quite a bit out of it. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's go to the learning objectives. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so what are we going to be doing for this module? It analyze situations that present issues with managing clients. It's actually a pretty cool activity we're going to be doing that you're going to run into in real life. So this is an excellent activity, and we'll go through that in just a few minutes. Explain your philosophy in coaching on mentoring. This is the paper we get to write for this one. It was mentioned the last module that this is going to happen. It's really not that big of a deal. And as I've already read your comments for thus far, it sounds like most of you already have a general idea. I think this will allow you to expand on those, and we'll go through that in step by step. And then examine resources on developmental editing, book doctoring, manuscript review to support editing and coaching. And we're going to talk about all sorts of different editing things like that. So there's really two activities, but a lot of this is just real life, practical things that you're going to be dealing with. Like I said, a lot of you already have general concepts that you already really know about. It's just going to get a chance for you to write them out and kind of hone them a little bit. So I think, like I said, it'll be a very enjoyable module in that case. All right, let's move on to the module overview. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just let you read through this. I will just say that when we're talking about these different titles here, okay, they talk about one thing, the big picture, and I can relate to this. Pardon me for sharing the little personal thing, but I'm actually supposed to. So I just finished my 11th book. I just finished writing it about a week ago. And I am in the beta reader stage where I have several folks that are reading the draft. Now, it's not really a first draft, it's more like a third draft because I went through it quite a bit before I then passed it out. But they are not looking for the nitpicky grammar stuff or mechanical things or anything like this. They are looking for plot holes or character development or point of view and pacing and stuff like that. And these are folks that I've used before. And so I'm actually relating, I can relate to this particular concept right now. It's hugely important because they will see things that I have missed. And also at the same time, there are sometimes they make suggestions that I'm like, nope, that's just not what I had in mind. So that's okay. Also, just keep an eye down here that there is really no official governing body per se when it comes to editors. So just keep that in mind. So let's move on. Okay, so the module at a glance. Review the module resources, which we will do in a second. We'll complete the activity of the manuscript review. Oh man, I love this thing. I can relate to this on so many levels. Submit your writing assignment, philosophy on coaching and mentoring. Again, I think most of you already have this in mind. It's just a matter of articulating it in words, and we'll go over that. And then participate in the class resource discussion. Well, I'll talk to you. There will be an additional little lesson that I will post in the announcement section, which we'll talk about in just a second. So here's your readings and resources. These are fantastic things. Again, these are just things that we've seen before. I'm not going to be reading part 3 of the Writer's Style book. But these 2 articles right here, 10 things about your freelancer, might not tell you, but you should know. And this is fantastic. This really talks about book doctoring and concept of kind of, like scams and what we need to be aware of. And actually the additional lesson that I will be posting this week deals with that particular topic. It's going to be using a little bit of a different twist, but it's kind of an analogy for what we need to be careful about when it comes to, we're so eager to get our work out there. We need to be careful as we are doing that. So, again, read through the readings and resources. Fantastic. Okay, now we get to before we get started. Again, there in the announcement section, I will post a video sharing an example of the concept of why we need to be careful once we're into a certain stage of the writing process, and what we want to avoid as we want to become across as credible if we're going to be editors ourselves. So just be aware of that. So There's that. Okay. Now we get to the fun stuff. The manuscript review. I love this. Oh, this is great. Okay, so we're actually going to go ahead and look at that assignment. The manuscript review. So this one is a what would you do situation, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the following scenarios and answer a question. So basically, and this has happened, okay? Seriously, all three of these have happened to me. They really have. I'm not kidding. Okay. Basically, you know, let's say you've got your book out and you finish speaking at a local library or something, and you're doing a book signing, and then someone comes up and says, "Hey, I'd love to. I've written a book. You know, I've written a novel too. Would you please read it and tell me what you think?" Okay. How are you going to respond to that? Okay. Or you're in a critique group. So again, you just have to choose one of these. You don't have to choose all three. Let's say you're in a critique group and somebody says, "Hey, I love your comments and feedback in the group. Would you be willing to look at my work in progress?" And you say, "Okay, sure." And you look at it, and it's a head-hopping mess. Okay, you know, how are you going to respond? And should you be charging a fee? I don't know. Okay. Or scenario 3, you check your email. And, you know, I have an author email account, and sometimes someone just out of the blue contacted you and they said they loved your latest novel and will you please read them, you know, the work and offered. You know, how do you respond? Okay, so, okay, so these are kind of 3 things that you more than likely will face once you get to that point in time if you haven't gotten to it already. Okay, so what do you do for this assignment? Okay, basically you need to post a response. And if you just look at the rubric here, okay, you need to look, how would you handle the conversation and how will you respond to the person in the scenario? So how are you going to get graded on this? Okay, well, explain how you would handle the conversation in the scenario, explains how you would respond to the person in the scenario, and then make sure you are articulate in your response. Notice that it doesn't say that it has to be in MLA formatting. Oops, I lied. Oops. Assignment should be complete in written format. This is a writing assignment, written format. Any written references should be in MLA formatting. So if you do references to MLA formatting, it may not hurt just to do it in MLA formatting. Does it say how long it has to be? No, it does not. What it does is that you need to make sure that you are stupidly clear to me that you have covered these things. Okay? And I'm not going to give you a word count or a page number or anything like that. Well, I will say this. Please do not go on and on and on. Do not do 5 pages. It doesn't need to be that long. It doesn't need to be that long at all, okay? As long as you are, you know, responding to these in a very evident manner. So I'm very clear on what this, you know, situation is, and you give your evidence of what you would say and why. Okay, so there's that assignment. But this is good practice for when this really happens to you in real life. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next assignment. And this one was hinted to last week. It's a paper that we get to write, okay? But again, it's really not that bad because it's really a philosophy on what you are going to be doing. The philosophy and coaching mentoring guideline. Okay, so let's actually look at this assignment. So again, if you click on here, it brings up this assignment. So in this one, you're going to be writing a 2 to 3 page paper, blah, 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 in MLA formatting. And again, I have posted things, and I'll show you again where that is, on how to properly format things in MLA formatting. So please do that. And you're going to be answering the following questions. Okay, so basically, you're going to really kind of do some introspection here and figure out, okay, you know, what is going to be your, you know, philosophy when it comes to coaching and mentoring? What's your teaching philosophy? You know, what is the approach you're going to be taking that you will employ with this philosophy? You know, explain the industry-specific techniques. Okay, that's the kind of stuff that we've been learning about so far. And again, there's stuff from our references, readings and references that'll help you with this particular thing. And articulate the system of revision, okay? You know, will you be using the track changes? Will you be doing another form? Will you have them be sending you paper and you write it up with a marked pen? You know, what is your approach, okay? So here is how you're graded for this. Now, again, so each of these questions has its own section. Now, this is where, here I am, Professor Morgan, I'm going to tell you a big trick, okay? When I read your papers, I don't necessarily like grading, okay? I'm more interested in your ideas, but I have to assign a grade to your paper. To make it as stupidly easy for me to make sure that you've covered all your elements, okay, basically have a paragraph or two on each of these things. Don't just write a whole big paper where I have to go digging and trying to figure out, did you really answer approach? Did you answer revision? You know, how about having a topic sentence where you discuss my pedagogical philosophy is, and then you kind of go through and explain why. You know, the approach to coaching and mentoring I would take would be blah, okay? Have these be your topic sentences so that when I'm reading your paper, I'm like, okay, oh, they're addressing this point, and then I can read what you've read, and then I can say, okay, yeah, you really got a strong concept on this, or like, yeah, you're kind of fuzzy on this one, you need emerging. But if I have to try to find it and I can't find it, it'll be a non-evident, and I don't want that, and you don't want that. So please use these different topics as topic sentences for the introduction of a paragraph or two. Okay? Do that. Students who do that earn better grades, simply because it's not because they're making it easier on me and just because I like them better, but it's very clear to me that you've actually covered what is required on the paper. Does that make sense? Okay. I hope so. Again, this is my attempt to help make sure that you, and plus, you know, from an organizational style, this just makes sense, okay? You know, you have an introduction paragraph, and then you kind of go through these different things. It's almost like the 5-byte paragraph on steroids, okay? It's just what it is, okay. Sorry, a little passionate about that, okay? Some people just write and hope that I catch everything in there. Ugh. If it's not stupid evident to me, then it gets tough, and it gets to be more in the emergent thing, okay? And I'm a fairly good reader, I'm just saying, okay? But anyway, I think I beat that to death. Alrighty, so there's that assignment. And then we get to this one. So, just a little side note, there is these class resources. Again, this is our ongoing wiki. So if you go to course menu and you go to discussions and you go all the way down here, class resources, you can see that there have people have posted. Oh, I haven't checked this in a little bit. Make sure you I will post something for this. We're adding more resources. Have it be stuff that you're adding based on your readings and stuff for this particular module. So we're going to be adding this ongoing wiki thing is what we're going to be doing. Okay, there's that. So let's go back. So remember, I think it was either the first module, where we kind of looked at the final project we're going to be doing for this class, and it's like this big elephant, this big huge thing that we're going to be doing. Well, actually, what's going to happen is like this assignment right here, this 3.3, or 3-3, I should say. This is actually part of the final writing project. What we're going to do next week is after you've posted this, then it's actually, we're going to share this as far as doing with the class, where they get to give you feedback, where you get to do reviews, peer reviews on this. Okay, so you're going to send it to me first and, you know, get a grade, and I'll give you a feedback. And then you'll get feedback from your peers. And all that is going to go into part of your final assignment. So as long as you're just keeping up in class, and as long as you are doing what you're supposed to be doing and working along, then it's just a matter of that last assignment is more of a portfolio, really kind of collecting things that we've been working on throughout the course of the semester with some minor tweaks. So, okay, so there's that. So again, go through this, do these 2 assignments, have some fun with them, especially that 3.2. Again, when it comes to, you know, like I said, I can't stress this enough, make sure you're very clear that you're covering all these topics, and then look for the video that I posted, also in the announcements, talking about really what we have to do as far as buyer beware when it comes to doing anything, especially book writing and stuff like that. All right, so there you go. Have fun doing it.